And they're either activists on one side or they're activists on the other, pretending that they're activists on the other side. Again, live like you are always on camera. And there was a time when we didn't live like we were always on camera. And we're in that time now in a reset in the 80s where we just came out of a completely hysteria-driven, data-driven place where everybody was purposefully freaked out in as much as they allowed it. You want to freak out? It's Good Friday. And now everybody's going to be like, oh, it's Good Friday. And what does that mean? Because of the cathedral and that collapse. Is this God sending a message? All the people who hate religion and hate all of this are going to have something negative to say, and they were always going to. So what? That's just how it is. That just have to accept that that's humans being humans, and in their identity that they get to improve their sense and level of identity if they can demean and make other and less a whole broad swath of people that undermine the, well, in this case, the logic of how they appear in reality. Palm Sunday last week. They passed out palm fronds at the front door of my parish, and they had everybody, as the priest made his entrance in, everybody waved their palm fronds in the way that they did as Jesus was welcome into the gate. And everybody's like, yo, who is this dude? Why does he have so many good stories? Who are these people that he's healed? He healed Lazarus, and Lazarus is here. Let's go kill him. They were working on killing Lazarus because people were going, what? You were who? And you were dead and now you're not dead? Or see the one with the leprosy? Whatever. These people, the stories were being around. Imagine being a physical witness to something that miraculous in the same way that you're hearing now, right now. What would that do to confidence in your faith, to being all in? And these people had that experience, and they had it so much that their very retelling of what happened to them was enough to make people go, oh my gosh, really? This dude's coming? Yeah, grab a palm frond. Well, how many palm fronds are there? Everybody gets one. Oh man, they're out of palm fronds. Yeah, well, split yours in half. It's still a palm frond. And keep splitting in half. It's still a palm frond. Oh, but how come that dude has 10 of them and mine is just this little piece? It's the same thing. If you take a glass and you sip from the river, if you sip from the Holy Spirit, if you sip from the fullness of water itself, if there's a raging river and you put a glass down at it and you drink it, are you drinking the fullness of the river itself? Is one single droplet contained the idea of river? And are you then experiencing that same miracle healing in the Holy Spirit and envisioning Christ's mercy and healing erupting in you as the healing river of water that it is? That this mercy has been healing and you can feel the change. So they keep splitting the palm fronds and everybody gets one. They keep splitting the loaves and the fishes and everybody gets one. They say, let's turn the water into the wine. And he goes, get me 6 stone jars. And they go, yeah, well, how come I just didn't get a shot glass? And try it out, and if it works, then maybe I can find someone to go get the 6 stone jars. No, they went and got the 6 stone jars. They filled them up with as much water in the capacity as the jar could hold. And in that capacity was water's capacity. And what is wine? It is a byproduct of water that has already grown, that has made the grape. And in the grape is the growing and the water itself, which then is then replicated back into wine, still with water's fullness in it. And that is how that miracle is allowed to go forth. So instead of judging, I didn't get a palm frond, my palm frond's too strong, or we have to take away the palm fronds from the wealthy. Thankful that you were there. Thankful that you were there to celebrate. Thank you were there to celebrate the coming of Jesus to come and meet his end, where he was ratted by one of his buddies for 30 pieces of silver, who then is so distraught about it, he throws the 30 pieces of silver into the temple. And he either asks for forgiveness or doesn't. And then we find out that he hangs himself. And if he hangs himself without absolution, then he will be eternally in hell. And if he was absolved before that hanging was complete, perhaps. And nobody will know. We will know when we get there that truth and justice as God sees it in its fullness is not to be questioned. And whoever's there is supposed to be there when we get to heaven and in your here and now. And the next person that you hold the door open for, and the next person that you say hello to, and the next person that you allow to go in front of you because you gave yourself enough time to get to where you're going and you weren't late. And because you're not late, you're not arguing with yourself about why you're always late. And you're not having that argument of, I don't understand why there's traffic. I don't understand why the light takes so long. I don't understand. Because you stand under the fact that you knew you had to get up early and get there on time. Because that's the truth of your experience. And you got up knowing that. Fully awake, fully ready to go. And there you were. Now you're at the light. Go ahead and go. Because I have time. And if you have time, you should be experiencing it in the same way people are who don't have a lot of time. If you want to experience living, understand what the dying are going through when they're really looking at time and breath to be as precious as they've ever experienced it. And as they near that physical end, their spiritual awareness increases because the physical presence is not there to dull it. And they see the time that they have waning down in its fullness. And hopefully they understand that in that moment, they're there to learn something and to give. And sometimes people go kicking and screaming and they resist it the whole way. And people do that with their current present moment. So if you know how you're going to act in heaven, if you know you're going to act as you've been absolved, if you know you're going to be acting as the best version of humanity, engaging with other humanity, if you're going to be engaging as giving life in the same way that the trees and the existence of nature around us exists in its completeness, are you there? And if you're existing in that reality and you see folks that aren't, are you letting them know that there's a different there possible as long as they trust themselves to see it? True, we'll see Trump's taxes one day. And I think the holding it back of it is to get all eyes on the IRS, because we're going to need to show how the IRS was weaponized against conservative groups again. Because I think what's coming out in the Mueller report is going to have a nod to that, which will conflate the news that surrounds the IRS, which will conflate the idea that Donald Trump's tax returns will be the undoing of him. And they'll finally come out, whether they're leaked or whether they've been there and are present the whole time and just being strategically brought out for you, and it's going to have maximum impact. In the same way these tweets have maximum impact because they're using NLP and machine learning to use the most optimal words in the right order to give the most impact to the people who are positively engaging in it and negatively engaging in it. And they're doing it in a way that the machines know how people react to words, and so they're creating words so people react to them. So that being said, do you react to your own words as they give them to you in the truth of what those words are, or are you tinging them with fear and living in a delusion or an illusion that something is going to take you away from now? Because the only person that's going to take you away from the here and now is you.